You being a forensic doctor, let's talk about, say, a Sushanth Singh Rajput case, or we did mention about contamination at a site. You deal with this,
Yeah.
and just from the outside, we feel that crime site is not well cordoned. You feel random people going in videos that get leaked and things like that. And what's the reality of it? Let's talk about either the Sushanth Singh Rajput case or the Arushi Talwar case, where the murderer is still on the loose.
There's a few assumptions here. And here's the thing, right? Evidence-based. And because it's evidence-based, I am not going to conclusively say it was a murder. I'm not going to say it's a suicide, I'm not going to say it's an accident. I don't know. I can only talk about what information has been available to me and been broadcasted to the rest of India. So based on that, it looks like all the precautions were taken to make sure that the scene wasn't contaminated. Now the problem is, usually in crime scenes, it's very difficult to initially demarcate the area as to which areas are of interest and which areas are not. And so even if you cordon an area off, there might be some, and contamination isn't always with throwing something into the scene. It could be a person who enters the scene as well. A person who comes in and films the scene or takes pictures, and these pictures get leaked, that is also contamination. Okay, and it's an active case, you cannot disseminate photographs, and also it's for the privacy of the case, you can't. So does this happen? Yes, it does definitely happen.
All of it gets flooded.
But it's more common in cases of cases where the site of incident is in public. And so we've had so many cases where they've called us to examine the scene, and it's like a road traffic accident, or it might be a railway accident, or a body found near the tracks, and the crowd gathers around because they see that something's happening. A lot of people have their cameras out. I don't know if it's for a morbid fascination that they want to see the video later, or they want to show their friends they saw something cool, but a lot of people do have their cameras out. And so the first thing police are asked to do is cordon the area off. Secure the area is the first thing that they need to do. Second, prevent any contamination of the area. But in India, it becomes prevent any further contamination of the area.
Because it's already contaminated.
Because you can't tell. We don't know what happened before we got to the scene. So we have to make do with what we see at the scene when we get there. And we have to trust that there has been no contamination from the police's side. Usually there isn't. Thankfully, Karnataka, as far as it goes, is very, very good from the medical legal standpoint. Tremendous respect for the police from our state. They're doing a fantastic job, especially Bangalore police. Hats off. Right. That being said, there are cases and situations where it happens where something, it seems like an apparent suicide, but later you find out it was a homicide. In those cases, evidence collection seems to be a little lax, because they're like, oh, this seems like a clear cut and dry case, therefore we don't need to be as meticulous. And that's far and few places. But if we've been trying to take an active approach to try and reduce this by saying treat each case on its merit, and treat each case also assuming that it's homicide until proven otherwise. Okay. So that is the dictum they go with right now, whereas you assume that there is foul play until you can prove definitely that there was no foul play. So that's the approach we take. You would have noticed that all of these cases take kind of the same path, where initially there's a FIR filed, wild accusations and speculations are done by the media. The track of the investigation is always the same. Police are involved, usually the crime branch gets involved, the city crime branch, then the forensic guys get involved, and then there's evaluation, estimation, and analyzing of the trace evidences, and then finally an opinion is given. The problem is this process takes time. And in that meantime, because people want instant justice, they're willing to come up with any sort of theory. Right? Somebody said, no, Karan Johar was involved. He came in and did it himself. I was like, dude, Sushanth Singh Rajput was a huge dude. I don't think Karan Johar has the upper body strength to literally subdue this guy who works out and who's strong, right? But people are like, no, definitely. Because he didn't want to give him a role in the movie. I was like, he could have just said no. People came up with crazy accusations. Conspiracy theories are great. Conspiracy theories are great, but the thing is, they're great when it's amongst friends and you can tup on their face when they say it. But when it's someone who's in a position of power, you can't tell them, dude, you're insane. This cannot have happened. It's difficult to reason with people who are in power.
Yeah, and that's what the internet really did. It was 2020, we had a lot of time on our hands. Everyone had their own theories, coming out with different things. But Dr. Aditya Sridhar, what a treat you are, and this has been fun, bro. Thank you for making time, for being here. You were here for the pizzas, weren't you?
Yes, dude, the pizzas are so good, man.
He's like, yeah, all right, fine, whatever. Sriram is going to talk about something, but the pizza. You mentioned something about eating love.
There was so much that so much of the conversation was off camera that I don't know if people watching at home are going to get the inside jokes. But the lady who cooks it is very pretty, and if she's single, you guys have no chance. I am here. I'm gonna shoot my shot.
Aditya actually said, hey, are you single?
I did.
To Niharika.
And it's not shameless, it's planning.